So if you are like me at one point, when a negative idea comes into your mind, you just fertilize the crap out of it. You put some water on it, you like grow it. You're like, man, you're right. What if this happens? And what if this happens? And what if, and what if, and then this happens, and then that'll happen, and oh my God. And what happens is the moment that negative idea comes into your mind, instead of identifying that it's a negative identity or negative idea or a negative identity, you allow yourself to process it. You know, man, what if I'm not as good as that person? What if I'm not as smart? Man, what if I can't be? Man, that person's so consistent. They're just super good. You're not even aware that you just planted a negative seed inside of yourself, you know? Man, that person's so freaking annoying. They're just this. You're not even aware that you just planted a negative spirit inside of yourself. You know what? Hey, man, that person, you know, they're just better than you. Man, what if they are better? Man, you know what? That guy's beating me right. You're not even aware in that moment that you just planted doubt inside of yourself. See, today, and this is something that's taken me 37 years to do. And if you could do it sooner, do it sooner. If you've done it sooner, good for you, man. That's freaking awesome. This is what's taken me 37 years to do, okay? It's to be able to identify every negative emotion, thought, every negative thing. The moment that it happens inside of my mind, that my mind receives it or my spirit identifies it, every single second of the day, I'm fighting these things. And I used to allow them to take root. I no longer do that. So if something happens and I'm like, yeah, man, you know what? Man, why am I still why? The moment that happens, I'm like, no, I have the ability to change. I have the ability to get better. I have the ability to do that. No, not going to happen. The moment where it's like, hey, you know what? Man, that person's better than you. No, that person's committed. What can I learn from them? How can we implement that? How can we do better? It's immediate looking for a solution. I don't know if I can. The moment that happens, I absolutely can. If somebody can, if anybody can, I can. And if nobody's done it, maybe I'm going to be the first. It's not from a place of ego. It's not from a place of being unrealistic. It's a place from really understanding that, like, if you believe that there's a God, like you believe that there is a God, you believe that God created this world, this universe, the sun, this earth moving around in space, that the other planet, you believe that there's a God, that there's, you know, a cell, that there's a brain, there's a heart, like that there's intention. You believe that there's a God. Like if you believe that there's a God and you really believe that, then your faith in yourself, if you believe that God created you, that has to change. That has to create an absolute change, that another person can't speak something negative over you. That doesn't mean that they can't challenge you or give you feedback or push you. You got to take that. Those are good things, by the way. Those are good things when somebody does that. And I always tell my guys, like, you don't have to like the package, but if I send you a Rolex in a little dirty paper bag, but it's a brand new Rolex, does it matter if it's not packaged the way that you like it, if it's something that's still good? There's a lot of people that will give me feedback that I don't necessarily like the way it's packaged, but if the feedback is true, if the feedback is good, man, I take it. Doesn't mean I like it. Doesn't mean it has to be a positive feedback. It could be a challenge, but if there's any truth to it, then I take it and I convert it into positive. And even if somebody means something in a negative way, I take that and I convert it into a positive. I will take the negatives and convert it into positive. Every single thought that comes into my mind, if it doesn't serve me as a man, if it doesn't serve me as a human being, if it doesn't serve me in my soul, if it doesn't serve me in being a better person, if it doesn't serve like how God created me to be, if it doesn't serve me, I do not allow that to exist inside my identity anymore. I do not allow that. By the way, it's not automatic. It is still manual, meaning that I have to manually do this process. It doesn't mean like, no. I have to manually do it, but I'm aware of it now. I catch that negative thought. I catch that negative spirit. I catch that negativity. I catch it, and I beat the crap out of it, and I do not allow it to live inside of me. I will not allow any limiting thought to live inside of me. That doesn't mean I can't do better. That doesn't mean we can't go faster. That doesn't mean that we can't improve. That doesn't mean we can't learn something new. But it just means that I know that there's, man, let's go do it. Let's get better. When you're committed to it and you drop the ball, you make a mistake, but you're giving everything you have, you don't feel like crap. You don't allow yourself to feel shame or guilt. You just say, okay, great, got to refocus in that area. When you're not giving your very best, that's when you allow that spirit or that thought or that negativity or that other person's opinion to live inside of you. When you're not giving everything you got, when you're giving everything you got, man, you don't got anything to worry about. Even when you fail, even when you lose, even when you drop the freaking ball, man, like, it's cool. Let's okay, cool. I dropped the ball. No, I'm not perfect. By the way, I don't want to be. That's not realistic. Like, that is not my goal. That used to be my goal. I'm a perfect. I was raised the way I was, hey man, do it right. And that's a good thing, by the way. And like, hey, you could do it better. And hey, why didn't you do it this way? And like, there are better ways to do it. And those are good things. But to you, sometimes people, not external, it could be external, but sometimes people internalize that as they're seeking perfection because they don't want criticism or they don't want to be challenged, or their ego they're insecure, they're fragile, and they don't want to be challenged. And that was me at one point. Like, man, what if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? What if I'm not enough? What if I'm not this? And this is where journaling comes in, and you're like, man, what if I'm not enough? What is enough? What is enough? And I realized that what is this whole thing about what if I'm not? That's somebody else that planted a fear that they never processed, by the way, and really worked through that thought to say, man, what is enough? Are you committed to getting better? Yes. If something is highlighted that you can do better, are you open enough? Are you open enough, secure enough to say, hey, yeah, you're right. I made a mistake there. I could do better though. I will commit to that. Are you afraid of commitment? Are you afraid of having to be accountable? Are you afraid of being responsible? There were times where I was, a younger person, and I was afraid of that responsibility. I was afraid of that commitment. I was afraid of that expectation. And then you realize that there's not that many things in life to be truly afraid of. And you realize that life is this short little time on this earth, and all these things that you were afraid of are stopping you from doing great things. And then, we made a video the other day on, paying the price weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. You get a little bit older and you realize, like, man, you know what? There's just a bunch of other people, and the most successful people in the world are just doing the things that other people are afraid to try. They're actually just trying. They're just starting. They're just going through it. They're just sticking with it. They're just getting better at it. They're no different. Man, if I can do that, if they can do it, I can do it. Right? And you start realizing that there is no magical personality or magical identity or special human beings. They're just people that all have the same ability to be great and pursue something and give it their very best and constantly improve. And if you're willing to do that, all that fear, all those negative thoughts, they don't have a place in you anymore. Because you're no longer afraid. Awesome, man. That's a freaking area we're not doing good in. You welcome the truth versus run from it or hide it or have to, protect this identity of, this, and the people that do this the most, because I was that person, they're the most fragile people until, life just kind of breaks you. And then you break and you're like, okay, yeah, everything fell apart. What can I do to get better? I'm not going to repeat that mistake anymore, but I'm going to get better, and I'm going to find my identity in God, and I'm going to find my identity in my commitment to myself, and I'm going to find my identity in being honest, and I'm going to find my identity in giving my best, and I'm going to go be this person, and I'm going to be who God made me to be. And I'm not going to be what somebody else wants me to be. I'm not going to try to be what somebody else is. It's not me. I'm going to be me. And the people that are supposed to be in my life, they're going to be in my life. And the people that are not supposed to be in my life won't be in my life. And you realize that you don't need everybody in your life. And when you're committed to being the very best version of you, and you're committed to being the best for people around you, those people that actually love who you really are or like who you really are, they want to be around you. The people that don't want to be around you, and that's totally okay. And if the moment that you're okay being by yourself, I think is a very powerful moment in a person's life, when you no longer need another person's validation to validate who you are. And there are people that are like, I don't need anybody to validate me. And it's more like an ego thing. And that's not, I've been that person too. Okay. But when you really no longer need anybody's validation because you validate yourself, man, it's just a moment where you have so much peace in your life, and you could deal with the chaos, and you could deal with all the problems, and they just don't hit you the same way anymore. because you know who you are. And you control this beautiful thing that God gave us, this mind, this brain, this spirit. By the way, you're in control of it. You're navigating it. You're directing it. You're speaking into it, versus allowing life to just take you in any direction that life takes you. No, you are the freaking captain of the ship, and you're the ship too, right? You're both parts to that. So when you do that, man, my challenge to you is, the moment that a negative idea or a negative spirit or a negative thought or a negative energy, the moment that any of that stuff comes into your mind, take control of it. Don't let it live inside of you. I love what John Gordon says. He says, any negativity is not from you. And I know this. He says, it's not from you and it's not from God. And here's how I know this. And he said this at one of our conferences. He says, because one, you wouldn't choose it from you, and neither would God. Like, you wouldn't choose it for you, and neither would God. Right? And that was like, you're right, man. I wouldn't choose this for me. I wouldn't choose this for me. I don't know where that came from, but it's not for me. I'm not going to allow that. No, and God wouldn't choose that for me. No, I'm not going to allow that, right? And then you're able to convert these negative experiences into just, hey, great. How can this produce positive change in my life? When you start attacking, man, fear goes away. When you start feeding yourself positive things, when you start getting close to God, when you start really like truly embracing the fact that you were created to do something special, and you believe that, when you believe that God made your spirit the way that it is, and it's unique, and it's in the way that you see things, and the way that you were formed, and the way that you've put all these pieces together, like that you're unique, that whole thing, like there will never be another person with your thumbprint, like that whole thing, that your DNA, like it's unique to you. Man, you're so freaking powerful. But so many of us have let so many negative things start to dwell inside of us and live there, and we keep them in the dark, and we don't tell anybody. We're afraid to admit them. We're afraid to really have good relationships in life. And this is why I think you need mentors. This is why I think you need good friends. This is why I think you need family. This is why I think you need people, if you're, brothers or sisters in faith, people that you can talk to, people that won't judge you, people that won't condemn you, people that won't look down on you because you're really being who you really are. Those are such invaluable people. And I realize the older I get in life, the less people there are like that I've met. But when you meet those people, they're just special because they're also that person. And those are a few good friends, man. And if you got a few good friends like that, that will tell you the truth, but will do it with kindness, and they care about you, and they really want what's best for you, and they want what you want for you, that's a powerful friend. Those are the kind of people that we need in our life. And the more you commit to being the best version of you, the more you can be that for somebody else as well. But for all of you guys here, any negative thought that comes into your mind, take hold of it, transform it, give it to God, transform it, and don't allow it to live inside of you. Don't try to argue with it. Don't try to negotiate with it. Kill it, because it's not supposed to be there. I hope this video encouraged you. If it did, please subscribe, give it a like, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.